Sesma say if you show precedence of providing, you can be kept on the hook. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so I guess so then, yeah.
Right, because the same thing with the woman that you've been that's been taken care of, right?
Right,
With the
right.
alimony, you have to take care at least for a while. They will
Yes,
say,
yes,
"Hey,
yes.
she's used to this kind of lifestyle." For that same
Right.
reason, the law can keep you on the hook. Even signing the birth certificate keeps you on the hook, right? As well, if you sign the birth certificate, that's definitely on the hook.
If you
Even
were
if
listed
they're
as the father
yeah,
on the
yeah,
birth,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's so. These are some of the things that's creating the fear that you see
Right.
all over social media because they're like, "Hey, he signed the paperwork and he never knew that they were not his babies or something like that." And now the law will hold you accountable to that.
Mm-hmm.
But these are extreme cases, and they're using it to address typical
General.
situations.
Can I respond to some things Mr.
Sure,
Kidola said,
sure.
please? Okay. He said his issue is attention, like a woman's attention will be divided. And I agree with him. He has a point. But I think it also depends on the age of the children, which I think he may have said later on. So of course, if they are very young, definitely her attention will be divided.
Right. If you get with a single mother who is nursing a 2-year-old baby,
Even if you are the husband that is the father of the 2-year-old, she
that's
will
what
not
I'm
give you.
saying.
It doesn't matter. But if the kids are older, and or even if they are babies, but she has maybe her mothers came from Ogo, she like her family is living around, and she has a good support system, she will give you attention whether you are coming in as a stepdad or you are the husband slash father.
Uh
She will
huh.
have more attention for you. So I think it depends on the dynamics and or the age of the children. The other thing I
Right.
wanted to respond to that Mr. Kidola said was when he said it's far far better if you go with a woman that is not a single mom, a normal woman.
Right.
He may have said that without thinking, but I caught him say the word normal, and I don't appreciate that.
What does that mean? Oh, normal woman.
Yes,
Oh,
as
okay,
though single
okay.
mothers are not normal. He may not have even known when he said that, but I hear everything.
I see. I see. Oh, but Akudola, you want to answer to that?
Yeah, sorry. When I mean normal, sorry, I lose some. I want to say, single, just single girls without no children. Sorry. You see, we can say it as look. Let me give you the men's side, because I think
Right.
women and men are totally biologically they're different.
Mhm.
You see, men, well, I don't know nowadays, because some boys or some this thing since BBS started coming out, push up and everything. They saying these things that when the man really come for you, the man, if the man really like you, is looking at you beyond whatever you put might be form, might be looking at you. You can be the mother of my children. A lot of things come up, right? Things are in his head. You understand me? A lot of things are in his head. He will adore you. So when these guys are like, especially when a man comes to a woman, definitely if you want to have something long for that woman, the children will be involved. You know what it is to smell your own children. Your own children. You could smell them. Say, wow. Then you see these children yearning for their mother attention. You, because you're the father, you kind of like back off. You will even be smiling, like, okay, wow, okay, who seek more attention? You be kind of like analyzing them. You understand me? You be analyzing the one that seek more attention from their mom and everything. Because they're your own children. That patient is naturally there. You understand me? Just like a lion. When a lion have a kiss, is naturally patient, will not do harm to those kids. You understand me? If it's not his kiss, it will be very, very aggressive. So the men are like that. Don't let no man tell you, oh, don't worry. No, 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 no. Men have that instinct of, okay, that impatient when it's not their kids. You understand me? When it's not their kids, they're not really patient. They don't want to handle the smell.
Okay.
They don't want to handle nothing. So women sometimes think that's why if you're dating them, ask what do you want, because there are some men that came because of purpose, like maybe they have a big ass, whatever, big boobs,
Wow.
or something like that.
You said
They did
some
not.
men, but that sound like men.
Generalized.
Men love big boobs. Okay.
Yes, when I mean
Can he
men,
can he mistakenly fall into a single woman's kpekus by mistake, and then
oh,
and then come back and tell us that it is okay?
yes,
That's more of what we see that's happening.
yes, most what you see now, because of the social media and some of all these things, sometimes with this artificial things, men sometimes run after this.
Uncle Ola, I think you are saying that Daddy Freeze and Yul Edochie are simps. That's what you're saying. These men fell into married women's kwekus and they are now trying to get all of us to do the same thing. Is that what you're saying?
Most men nowadays, they just beat around that thing until they sometimes it's boring to look. Life is boring. Sometimes these things can get boring, but the relationship, whatever come involved, that's what you're still holding up to. There's not that doesn't get boring. Even the music you listen is very boring. So what push up relationship really is what God gives to people. That thing, that children involved. Look, I don't know, but men love.
Because I want to round up, Uncle Kidola. The days that I have time, I will let you go,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But let me ask you this simple question: is Daddy Freeze simping or pimping? It's very simple. It's straightforward.
The truth,
He's married to a single mother with 4 kids. They're still dealing with the lawsuits. 5 million naira he needs to pay. Is this simping or pimping?
the truth of the matter is, I don't really know the value of his relationship.
No, it should be simple now. Off of everything you've been telling us.
No. Why I said it, I don't want to go for simping or pimping. I don't know his value. Maybe that woman might be her type. Maybe she fall into.
No. You didn't say unless there are types now. You didn't say that. What you said, which is what Chidima said, is there's normal and there's not normal, right? Off of that principle, let's just go off.
My brother. Look, if you like, you see, for those that like women are very adorable people. You cherish them. They're even looking at them alone, they come to be the mother of your kids. Your mind will be, that's what men have. There's society women will say, the man will just kind of like, okay, if the man says I don't have, it's okay, go.
Uncle Kidola, your answer to me tells me that you will fall into kwekus and come and justify it later.
No. Because if you fall into kwekus, that will be your downfall. That will be your wreck. You understand me?
No, but this is the woman that he loves now. The same thing goes for Yul Edochie, all right? Do you think it's simping or pimping? Because that's a beautiful woman in his arms.
People play. See, there are some things sometimes you play love, but it's not really love. But you just play into the gallery. You understand me? Maybe, if she can cook, give you some fried jollof rice or fried rice. This thing can hold you and everything. You understand me? See, look, men sometimes can also get stuck. Not only women get stuck with some austerities. So men too can get stuck, but they don't know how to live. You said because they're already there.
So you think they're simps and they're stuck?
A lot of men are simps nowadays.
No, these 2 men on the screen now. Yul Edochie, Ati, Daddy Freeze. You think they're simps and they're stuck?
I don't want to really condemn them because I don't really know them. I don't know the value.
But that's the whole point of this conversation. We end up condemning people.
When I mean that most men since BBL started coming out,
none of these 2 women on the screen has BBL. They are just natural women, right? And they are beautiful, right? But they happen to be single mothers, and these fine young men have found love in these women, and they have 2 children, right? But you don't want to condemn brotherhood.
No, there's no.
See how easy that was.
You see, there's no concept. Love is there's what called sympathetic love. That sympathetic love, cable. That one can sometimes become a problem. Men sometimes fall into kind of sympathetic love that they're stuck there. To live will become a problem. They just, but they cannot really speak their mind. You understand me? But if you really love your wife, you understand me? If you really love your wife, the woman you with, you will be there, and no matter whatever happens, you will struggle. You will do all the best to hold on to that relationship.
Uncle Kidola, I have the other show coming up soon. Unfortunately, I have to. We will have this. We'll continue this conversation another day. I appreciate you for coming up, bros. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right, Chidima, your thoughts?
Oh my goodness, I'm cracking up. But
I didn't mean to corner him, but the corner was cornering. I just wanted him to say, "Hey, these dudes are simps. It's just what it is. Let's just call it what it is." But
no, he couldn't. He couldn't bring himself to say it. But he would say it for general men out there, or nameless men out there who marry single moms, right? That they are simps.
Because that's the conversation. You marry a single mom, you're a simp.
But when you put a name to it, Daddy Freeze in particular, they will never want to call Daddy Freeze a simp. I'm just cracking up because I'm like, I literally predicted this a while ago. I literally predicted it, so I find it so funny.
You
Sorry.
did?
Oh my god! Yeah, I told you that. So is Daddy Freeze by definition, and you a simp? You said yes, and I said, but they won't want to call Daddy Freeze a simp. That the simp
Right, right.
are inconsistent. Remember when I said that? I said
Right.
inconsistent.
That, and I said that's manosphere.
You
It's
said that's what
inconsistent.
makes them
Yeah.
manosphere. So that's basically what I meant. But anyways, jokes aside, my concluding statement is what I said earlier. If somebody has done their homework and people are able to create boundaries, I don't think any form of relationship cannot work. And if people are emotionally intelligent, and doing homework includes going for marriage counseling so that they can, because a therapist or premarital counseling, a professional one, not the church one, you can do both. But ideally, I would advocate for doing the professional out of church one. Unless the church marriage counselors are licensed marriage counselors as well, then fine. Some churches have that. Then you can do that. So if you go to that, they can show you blind spots. Like I said earlier, when you asked me if it's my son, those kind of questions, I don't think a son in love will be thinking of those kind of questions.
No, they
I
won't
am
even
the
listen
parent.
to you. They won't listen to you.
You see? So,
Yeah. You just be talking to yourself because he's in love. He's in love. He fell into Pecos already. It's too late. It's too late. He's justifying it. He's saying, well, those are my kids now. He's thinking he can pull it off, right? And you're just gonna, they're just gonna have to go through their own journey. That's the bottom line.
So my advice would be, before you fall into the bekus, if you just find yourself getting attracted to a specific single mom, right? Before you start really dating her and falling into her bekus and really falling in love, that's when you start the background work. Because once you're in love, everything else will sound to you like they're attacking your relationship. Whether it's coming from a counselor, from parents, from whoever, you will feel attacked.
Yeah, because if I'm on the fence or I am doubting being with this person, the conversation would not come up at all. It wouldn't exist in the first place. The reason why this conversation would exist in real life is because that man is a finished man.
He's already finished.
He's already swimming in dark because he's going to be an emotional human being like the rest of us, and he's just going to have to go through that journey, right? And a lot of men are in that position. That's the reality. So I'm saying this, I'm preaching this today to tell all the single mothers, you might be roaming around the social media street and hearing certain rhetorics, and it might be tampering with your self-esteem.
Right.
Don't do that to yourself.
Right.
That's not reality. These men are falling inside of pecos of all types. Any day, they will wipe you up. You just have to know what you're doing also as a woman, as a lady. Don't lose your shit because you heard somebody saying that, they would never be with this. They are lying. And they've been doing it since the beginning of times, by the way. I have step-grandmothers, at least 3.
You're right.
I've told you that story before.
Your grandfather was a polygamist, yes.
Yes. I have 3 of them at least.
Right.
2 or 3 that came from another man's house after they finished having all the babies. And then they had babies. They have aunties like that and uncles like that. So don't let anybody deceive you with some rhetorics, talking points. What they are talking about is preferences. That's where it gets stuck. It's true, but they get stuck at preferences. They are just preferences. Every man in his right mind is true. When he's talking about his preferences, he would want a person that has not had babies. That's preferences, and it's okay to have that. But take it just as that with a grain of salt. Okay? If you have him by his balls, if you are good at what you're doing in terms of your seductive skills, he will forget his mama. He will slap his mama for you. Okay, I'm just saying. You get what I'm saying? Don't buy into all this rhetoric. As long as you as an individual, you're working on yourself, then you're hot in the marketplace. Because most people are not working on themselves.
Or if Judy Austin, I don't think she's working on herself. She has other type of seduction.
Let's forget that examples for a second. just to preach what we're trying to preach here, which is beyond the celebrities. You know, just in general, but we can still use it. There's some value she brings.
Definitely. That's what I was
that Yule is
Value.
tagging on to. And even Uncle Kidola mentioned it. But he started mentioning it when I put him in the spot. He started mentioning, like, I don't know what the values that these women see, so he couldn't call them. And I want him to apply the same grace long before we get to that part of that conversation. Right? A woman who has kids can still bring value to another person's life. Right? So all the generalized talking point, they will continue to fall in the poto because human beings have all types of shades of colors. That's the bottom line. We break all the rules. There are rules, there are preferences, yes, but they're not rules that stand. They don't stand. Okay, the preferences. Women will say they have all the least tall, dark, and handsome. How many of you are married to tall, dark, and handsome? Some of your husbands are just as short as they come. And you love them to death, and it's okay. He brought some kind of value to the table.
Yeah.
Right? So they're like, well, they settled for less. No, they settled. They're settled. They're happy. That's not settled for less. Don't look at a woman. Don't. You said what?
Daddy Freeze is very happy with taste buds.
Yes, obviously. It's so obvious to me. Right? And they're going through a journey. They're going to have to go through that journey. So if they continue to knock his door for 12 million naira, 5 million naira, he's like, okay, that's my wife. I'm going to have to deal with it. And I'm happy for him for that. I can't use that and now turn around and look at every man that's trying to date a single man and say he's a simp. That's slow. That's being slow. I'm trying to be nice. That is slow. You cannot make such conclusion from one case. We can't do that. That's how we're hurting ourselves. All of us have our own journey, and nobody's life is perfect. Nobody. And that's all I need people to embrace. Just know that, hey, my journey is my journey. Nobody's life is perfect. I'm going to make the most. I'm going to live my best life ever, every second, by working on myself. But these are the rhetorics that tend to go the most viral, but they're stupid. So the first man, the one that was talking first, I will look at him and say, is he a simp? He's potentially a simp. He shouldn't be that loud about what he doesn't know anything about, right? The first one, right? But the second one is a bigger simp. The one that thought he was protecting men is a bigger simp. He's projecting. He's talking about his own personal story. And the whole thing that you can end up paying for people's child support, it's not that simple. Yes, it could happen, but it's not that simple. It's not everybody that's getting baby mama would do that. There are men that they are paying child support on their own children right now and they still resent it.
Exactly.
So what are we talking about? So my verdict is very, very simple. Okay? Marrying a single mother, yes, will come with certain responsibilities, particularly your own personal security. If you're not secure, if you're not a secure person, don't do that to yourself. Because there's going to be events, just like the person that married the person that never had a baby, that married a virgin, there's going to be events that will test your sense of security. So you are easily triggered if you now have somebody who has their own kids, and every time she said, give me 1 second, let me take care of the baby, you're going to get triggered. Then you're better off not doing that to yourself. That's just obvious stuff, right? But you're going to have to deal with that same thing if you marry a virgin too, by the way. Sorry. Sure. This is the part that Juju doesn't want to hear.
Ask Juju how far.
You're going to have to deal with the same thing. Sometimes you want her to give you a certain level of attention, but it's not. So it may be harder to trigger your insecurity. No, stop the cap. I'll take it back. If you're insecure, you're insecure. Yeah.
Stop the cap.
If you're insecure, you're insecure. The smallest thing will trigger you anyway. You don't have to have stepchildren. You know, because who is measuring the emotions and what? And how do you measure it? By number of kids that were not yours? We're capping. You're deceiving yourselves. You're deceiving yourselves. So I think it's a useless advice ultimately. I see the point. I get the point. Advise men not to be with single mothers. You cannot say that until you get them to stop creating single mothers. That's number one.
Allah, thank you. God bless you.
Number two, if he fell into pekus, all that stuff will go right out the window. Because he's in love. Because she's bringing some kind of value. It might be temporary, you might call it. But she's bringing some kind of value and he's not going to listen to you. So it's a useless advice, ultimately. It's a useless advice. What we need to keep pounding. See, I'll go around and circles. I'll come back to it. Work on yourself as an individual, man or woman. That's what I'm always going to keep coming back to. If you're a Judy Austin and you're outrightly seizing somebody's child, you will collect. Those kids will show you shaggy. They will remind you. Yeah, something will happen. Those kids you're hogging up to like that, trust me, something will happen. You collect. So the best advice I can give for a Judy Austin is to work something out and make sure that a father who wants to be in his kid's life for 4 years, that he knew them, you need to work something out for that. For Mr. Obasi, he needs to learn how to use the system. Social media is not the system. There's strategic places where you can use social media, but not the TikTok content creator is on us. Those ones will just use you. They will use to drive traffic, and then you now have ammunition against you that can literally work against you getting the custody or access that you want. Don't do that to yourself. Social media will listen to you, but they'll drag you with it. That's my advice. Now, I think I've spoken to young men already. Young men, if you fall into Kwekus, no, I think Chidima's advice is perfect. Make sure you know what you're doing, Sha. That's what I always tell people. Just make sure you know what you're doing. For the audience here, any one of this could be any one of us. If you're a man, your child might end up, your daughter might end up being a single mother, completely out of her control. She thought she was going to be with the person forever. Would you apply some grace when you're helping her to move forward, even though one marriage didn't work out the way? Would you apply some level of grace, empathy? Maybe, right? Ladies, if you had a son, the same question I asked Chidima, would you just be like, yes, just start marrying single women? No, it's not that simple either, right? So we have to bring it down to case by case by case. What I can tell you for a fact is that single mothers are always going to be, it is what it is. Because human beings are having sex, and sometimes they have sex ahead of doing marriage, and then it doesn't work out. So they are single parents now. We need to learn how to navigate that, as opposed to creating cookie cutter solutions that are basically, ultimately useless. Advice that are just useless. Don't get with a single parent, single mother. It's a useless advice, okay? Because there's a guy, his name is Donovan Sharp. It's one of the Manosphere guy. Donovan Sharp. He was dragged in this internet street over the past 1 year. How? Why? Because he had been preaching this shit for the longest. Come to find out that the woman he's been floating around for a while is a single mother, and the daughter he's been calling a daughter was not his biological daughter. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I would apply grace to a Donovan Sharp, personally. But he had been busy for years. Let me show you how many monitoring spirits follow this lame ass person. He has been pandering this same talking point for so many years. So his own people, they dragged the nonsense out of him. Because they're like, are you kidding me? Don't do this. Don't ever touch a single mother. He was talking about himself all along. This guy right here, 173,000 monitoring spirits follow him for this stupid rhetoric. You see, Donovan Sharp and Devon. The Devon, he's added her name now. It's a single mother that basically failed all the Manosphere test. He's now added her name now. And Devon hosts a podcast about red pill. I'm not sure about Devon. Let me not put that. But I think that's the name of the lady. Devon hosts a podcast about red pill relationships for men. This guy right here. He's repeating all the same talking points. And he builds massive audience from it. But he can't maintain, because you're a human being. You're a human being. You put yourself on a pedestal, you will always fall off. Anyway, thank you for chopping up with me today. Chidima, I think we did that
Thank you.
justice.
I
Yeah,
believe so. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon, okay?
Okay.
All right. All right, everybody. Let me see what the chat is saying. All right. Chinye says he's a hypocrite. You're not going to give him grace? Give him some grace. Come on. He's just a man who is running his mouth. It's okay. Give him some grace. Today is about grace. Okay. So Dinova got the Derek Jackson treatment. He did for a short period. But those rhetoric are so strong that they kind of forget. They're happy that somebody is soothing their pain. Right? So that's a small part of me that I appreciate the manosphere, because I know some men need to hear that they're not alone, but then they need to get past and then actually seek the healing that they need. Unfortunately, majority of them get stuck in a red pill rage. You know, work on yourself. That's it. The second one, Nazakios, he has collected. Yes, I prefer responsibilities to baggage. This is how someone with emotional intelligence. Thanks, Chidima. I just can't bring myself to say that. Why? Some might think it's simping. Well, shout out to you if you think it's simping. I just need what I'm saying needs to land. I don't need the people that are hearing me to be triggered before they can even get to hear the point. Everybody here collect lessons today. It's about grace. Don't be so judgmental. But imagine they left because I had to say I must say it's baggage by force. It's the first of all, my kids are not baggage, so I don't want anybody to call. I wouldn't call other people's kids baggage. I simply look at it, if I can deal with that relationship, I deal with it. If I can, I walk away. There's always freedom to do that. And when you don't think you deserve such freedom, then you basically subject yourself to have to be judgmental and be extremely all over the place. You know? So yes, it is a fact. Responsibility. My own kids are a responsibility. My own kids cannot be baggages. Right? Once I decide to go and fall into that kwekus, it's responsibilities. So if I now come out of it and it turned out to be a bad story, now I'm walking around the internet calling it baggage to quote unquote help other men. No, you're helping yourself. Essentially, you're helping yourself. You need someone to help you. Sorry, it wasn't your fault. They love using extreme situations to justify their talking point. Also, if a man makes an informed choice to marry a single mom, he's not a simp. His self-esteem should not be attacked either. That's essentially what is a shaming tactics for anybody who would disagree. In the same breath, we want to say it's okay to agree to disagree. But then when somebody disagrees, we want to yield towards, you know. So already, Chidima said she didn't like the first guy that was using the label of a real man. Right? She's trying to be as centered as possible. That's what that was. Right? In reality, the response you're going to get, the real one you're going to get in reality is what D-Law said, right straight up in the chat. Like just straight up. That's what you're going to get in reality from most people. And that's what you need to prepare for in real life. Most people will generalize, will be judgmental. Okay? Most people will make conclusive statements based off of their own personal experiences. Right? So if you're listening to me, I'm having you prepare that, hey, it's okay, they are just normal people, but you can elevate above that and say, I'm going to choose to take my time in assessing situations before I make conclusive statements off of things that are not reality. The reality is that men are falling in love with single mothers. They are creating them and they are falling in love with single mothers. That's the reality. Why? Because it's never really about all the trivial nonsense. If you've had kids, it means that no, that's a very useless statement. Ultimately, how do I know it's not an opinion? Just look around you. Just look around you. All these single mothers and single fathers, of course, too, that are being created all over the place, they're aliens. They are people. Oh, let's just simplify it and call them simps. Sure, but it's not going to help the matters, right? You're not going to address the real issues. The real issues is that people need to learn how to do relationships. And there's only one way to make relationships work. There's one way. Across the board, it doesn't matter what we're talking about. Overall united front. If you want, you can get with a with a dwarf. If you want, you can get with little people. They like to call it, right? See, little people. You can, if you want, you can get with any human being, right? If you have an overall united front with that person, that relationship will work, right? That's easier said than done, right? Of course, because coconut head, pride, right? Pride, coconut head, mismanaged expectations. All of this is mismanaged expectations. Don't expect human beings to be so perfect, right? That man will fall into that quickness and he will be using his senses. No, he will be a finished man now, especially married woman. Not married woman. Sorry, excuse me. Don't cut that. Especially single women with kids. Single women with kids. Yeah. Wait until that if we start to justify it for you, you know he's a finished man. And it's okay. It's okay. It's not, they're on a journey together. They're going to figure a lot of things out. It's not going to be a perfect journey. Like there's no journey that's perfect. Right? You're not going to look at one woman and say, I knew it. You shouldn't have been with a single mother. With a mother. I knew it. I saw them argue the other day. It must be that it's because you married a single man. Huh? Let's do the maths now. Maths now. It's not mathing. Right? But something you and I can agree on here is that if you maintain a united front overall with the partner, that's literally the equivalence of a relationship working. So there's one goal you have, right? Maintain a united front. There's a simp that will look at you, gentlemen, while you're actively trying to maintain a united front with your lady. It's like you're simping to her. Tell him he's a simp. I need to go and find him a lady. And stop jerking off every other night in the bathroom. Sorry, excuse me. I'm sorry. I went too left. Okay, sorry. Yeah, self-esteem is a big deal. Thanks for pulling that out of me. Don't let anybody mess with your self-esteem. Same thing goes for you, gentlemen. Don't let anything mess with your self-esteem. You listen to someone like Donovan Sharp, he's going to mess with your self-esteem because now you already fell in love with a single mother. Now you start to think that it's never going to work. And that's your self-esteem being shot. And you're going to attract what you fear the most. And no, you can't blame that on Donovan Sharp. You have to blame yourself for that. Because you can't tell me that when you were listening to Donovan Sharp, after listening to about 2 hours of a live stream, you can't tell me that something wasn't feeling wrong. There's no way you're going to tell me that. It was feeling wrong, but you knew that it's because you don't collect in GSS2. So you enjoyed it. You enjoyed it. Why is helping you hold this woman accountable? So you were enjoying it. But now you are walking around looking over your shoulder every time because you feel like every woman is out to get you. Obìnrin is not your mate, they can get you. Don't get it twisted, though. Mm-hmm. But especially if you're a man who is not sure of yourself, of course they'll get you because you're weak. Of course they'll get you. You kidding me? You're weak. Everything is black and white for you. That's literally a weak man. No, write that down. A black and white. I just see it as black and white. That's literally the definition of weak. Because there's a wide blind spot where the enemy is gonna get you. And yes, he might use the woman in your life. It's always going to use somebody in your life. That's just it's not going to be somebody off the streets. So of course you're going to justify it and say, I always knew it. These women. You can flip the gender. The same thing goes to the other gender, okay? Work on yourself, okay? If you slap mommy, they are carrying you to the altar. Watch out, wahala. Did I say slap somebody's mama? Bekus are making some men slap their mama. Don't get it twisted. Even though that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, if DF is finished, you could call me finished too. Okay. Shout out to everybody that made it to Lola and Ola to watch, to hang out with us yesterday. When we brought the show back yesterday, you can go and watch it. Just go to YouTube channel Lola and Ola if you missed it yesterday. So we're hanging out for about a little bit over 90 minutes yesterday. Some really, really great topics we covered yesterday. So if you missed it, Go find it. You can just go to our community page right here. You will see, you'll be able to link it from there. Okay. So I'm also somebody might call finished man. I'm okay with that. Okay. I'm okay with being called a finished man, as long as I'm with the woman that I want to be with. I don't know what you want from me at this point. So go watch it too. Go and watch the replay. Yeah, go watch the replay. It's up there. It's up there, ladies. Thank you. Shout out to the ladies. Shout out to Uncle Bendo. I see you in the chat early. Shout out to Uncle Kidola. Those are my brothers. Thank you for coming up and chopping up with the conversation. Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. Oh, I'll be back here 5 p.m. Regular time tomorrow. 5 p.m. Super happy hour, prestige happy hour. So we'll be here tomorrow, continue to cover some of these trendy topics. So the dangers and beauty of marrying a single mother. I think we've done that justice. I'll leave it at that. Okay, thank you so much. Hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. We'll see you on the next one. We offer evidence-based relationship and marriage resources and coaching to help you navigate the difficult times.
Don't just wing it. Learn the principles that work.
Download our 2 free books and book your complimentary coaching session now at manofprestige.com.